today. It's a big crowd. We are from the Women's Diversity Network. I invited our members to come up to be with us as well, because we've taken votes to decide what our platform will be, what issues we will stand behind and add our voices to. And it's very important that everyone sees us together as a united front, because we are the Women's Diversity Network. And if you look around, you don't see tons of diverse faces in this audience. And one of the things the Women's Diversity Network is trying to do is bring women together of different backgrounds. So as you can see, we are accomplishing that, and we're getting together, uniting on platforms, that way we can all add our voices. So that way, together, we can create a unified sisterhood. The Women's Diversity Network. The Women's Diversity Network connects and mobilizes women of different backgrounds to create positive changes through a more unified sisterhood. And we do that through experiences, advocacy, and eventually through resources. We're here today to talk about Senate Bill S3579A. Again, that's S3579A, which is the Bail Elimination Act of 2018. Right? This bill has tons of co-sponsors. It hasn't passed the Assembly. We're just waiting for it to pass the Senate. So it's very important that we reach out to our senators. And I'm going to show you a picture. You can't see it, but there's lots of boxes here with people's faces. These are all the representatives that are co-sponsoring the bill. None of them are from Long Island. None of them are from Long Island. So it's our job to make sure that we go out there and we put pressure on our lawmakers to do something about this bill. And let me tell you a little bit more about the nuts and bolts of the bill. So this is an act to amend the criminal procedure law and the judiciary law in relation to enacting the Bail Elimination Act of 2018, and to repeal certain provisions of the criminal procedure law and the insurance law relating to the posting of bail. The purpose is to end the use of monetary bail and improve our criminal justice system. One summary of the provisions is that it amends Section 500.10 of the Criminal Procedure Law, amending definitions for pretrial release provisions of the Criminal Procedure Law, including a new 3-A defining release under non-monetary conditions, and deletes references to monetary bail. That is in there. The power balance of the criminal justice system is off. We need to change laws in order to get different outcomes. That's the only way things will happen, is by the people being vocal about the laws that no longer serve them. How will change be made if we are not speaking up on behalf of the changes that are need to be made? When people are being processed, their lives are also being ruined. What happened to you're innocent until proven guilty? Not you're innocent until you can post bail. Let's end money bail. Let's end it. There's so many other ways that we can hold people accountable while they're waiting to go to trial. Fact. Research shows incarcerating people before their trial does not keep any one of us any safer. Most people that await their trial at home do so without impacting the community's safety. So why are we still making money off of brown, black, and low-income people? If you're rich, you will always be able to afford bail. But what if you're not? That means you go to jail until you can prove that you're innocent. It's just as plain as that. Let me ask you, how many of you, and I want you to stand up, how many of you, say something happened, can afford $500 of bail? If you can, please stand up. All right, $500 bail. Okay. Most common bail, $10,000. How many of you can afford $10,000? Please remain standing for bail. Please remain standing. Right? Take a look around. Another typical common bail, I spent hours and hours in a courtroom with my cousin as he was being arraigned, and 90% of the people were there for marijuana, and the bail was $20,000. How many of you can afford $20,000 right now? Stay standing. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know who to call. Take a look around. This is crazy. This is all to prove that you're innocent. This isn't even for your lawyer. This is to prove your innocence. I sat in a courtroom with my cousin who had traffic tickets, waiting 8 hours for him to see if we were going to be able to do something to help him. As I sat there, 95% of the people that were there for marijuana. And they have to come up with cash bail. A lot of them are young, so which means parents have to come up with this cash bail. There are other ways to keep communities safe and have people return to court. I imagine how my own life would have been different if my father and uncle hadn't spent so much time in jail for using drugs. When black, brown people use drugs, it's a criminal act. When white people use drugs, it's an addiction, it's a disease. The war on drugs was a war on black and brown people. The war on drugs was a black problem. Crack was the black and brown people's thing, and my father and my uncle were in jail for that. Mostly using. My father at the time also was selling because we were in poverty, trying to make it out with people with low education. Coming from single-parent households, coming from addiction and being treated as criminals instead. If we had other measures, maybe I could have spent more time with my father while he was waiting to go to trial. Him getting to know what being a parent was. Him forming a bond with me. Maybe wanting him to stay out of jail so he can be a better parent. We have to think of other ways, because making money off of those people is not helping, it's destroying families. If we have someone waiting in jail on allegations, most likely they won't be able to keep their job, they will not be able to provide for their families, they can't continue school, they lose scholarships. There are already so many barriers to success for people of color. Now imagine one of them in a car with someone who has marijuana in the car and nobody wants to claim it. It's not mine. It's not mine. Now guess what? Everybody gets arrested in the car. Everybody. Let's call this one girl that's arrested Tia. Tia's mom is on disability. Tia's dad just got laid off. They can barely make ends meet. Tia has a track scholarship to go off to college. And now her family has to figure out a way to post bail for Tia, so that way she can prove her innocence. Whose worst nightmare is that? We all know the story of Khalid Browder, who allegedly stole a backpack. Charges were dropped way later, after he spent tons of time in jail because his family could not afford bail. He ultimately killed himself as a result of his experience in jail. trying to prove his innocence. We are prosecuting black and brown people and low-income people for not having enough money to prove their innocence outside of jail while they're home working or taking care of their family. We are prosecuting them for not having enough money to prove their innocence. And I know some of you may be thinking, well, they committed a crime. 80% of young people who are arrested did not commit the crime. 80%. Most kids are awaiting trial for something they did not do. They're in jail because they cannot afford this $20,000 bail, this $10,000 bail. They don't even know what the evidence is. New York is one of the worst states for discovery. You don't find out what the evidence is against you until you go to trial. So you can't even fight it. So what's happening is some people are taking plea deals because they don't know if the evidence someone has is it good evidence, is made up, like they don't know what to do. So they'd rather take a plea deal instead of risk the chance of going to trial and not being with their family. So what happens now? They now have a criminal record for something they did not do because maybe they were too scared to be a snitch and tell on someone because of repercussions that may happen to them or their family. So now they have a criminal record and down the rabbit hole they go. Bail is another form of attack on black, brown, and low-income people who cannot defend themselves. It is another way for our government to make money off of them. We need to challenge these institutions. All the companies that are housing the kids at the border, that are private companies getting rich. So much money is made off of people who cannot protect themselves. Our government does this in plain sight. We need to speak to lawmakers about why we need reform. Because those people that don't want it, like the bail bondsmen, they're talking to them every day. With their words and with their money. Call your senators. This is past the assembly. Call your senators. Get their support. Get them to pass this, to find other ways. There are research for other ways. Black, brown, and low-income people are convicted at a higher rate already because of the way they look. Instead, we are now punishing them and torturing them and breaking up their families because someone couldn't afford to pay maybe their ticket fees. There's 16,000 people in New York just awaiting trial and are in jail. 80% of youth detainees did not commit the crime. And we are watching our government make money once again off of black, brown, and low-income people. What will you do?